Previously, listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve.
My name's Arnes.
And today I'll be showing you guys the difference between a legit Woody and the bootleg one. Alright, I think that's good for the intro here. I'm thirsty. You thirsty?
Yeah, let's get something to drink. It's break time.
Alright, let's get him open up.
What happened?
Where's this box?
Wait,
You smelled that?
You smell smoke? You smell smoke?
Yeah.
Smells like it's out here. I'm not sure. And oh, Jesus Christ. Alright, let's get the water.
Oh my god, my box.
And now back to the review. Alright, so we were able to find Woody. You don't want to know the troubles that we went through to get him. We might have filmed it, but that's for another time. But anyways, we're going to be comparing the bootleg to the legit one here and seeing what's the difference and if it's still worth meriting possibly getting this one or just forking over the extra cash in order to pick up the Revoltech.
God, I can already see the difference. The real one is so much... Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, we'll just we'll start with the actual figures, so we'll zoom in, compare them side by side, and then we'll go over each of the accessories and then give you guys our final thoughts. So first and foremost, the bootleg definitely has the height advantage on the legit one, and that's mainly because the way the joints are set up, like especially here in the legs, this doesn't go in any farther. So they do stick out a little bit because the pegs are a little bit too long here in the leg region. And while on the Revoltechs, it's nice and clean and flush. So you got that issue. Same with the waist. This sits up way too high. So if you're looking for a taller figure, bootleg's your boy. Next, for the face sculpts. This is what I remember from the movie. I'm not sure what this is.
That's what I remember from my nightmares.
Exactly. Because looking at it straight up from the face, the legit one's pretty proportioned. Skin tone's a little bit lighter than the bootleg, because the bootleg over here, his jaw's a little off-centered.
A little bit.
A little bit. Also, teeth aren't quite nicely as painted on the bootlegs. The eyes are of a brighter shade too, so the paint looks a little bit off. Noses actually on the bootleg is a little slimmer. It's a little bit more triangle shaped on the actual Revoltech, while the bootlegs kind of has this weird little slope going on. Hair color on the bootleg is a little bit glossier. The regular one has a matte finish. Detail wise though, mostly the same. And where the head connects to the face, regular Revoltech, nice and flush. The bootleg, at least on this regular one, that's as far as it'll enclose. And before I get into it, back, also super glossy on the actual bootleg. And that's because for the gimmick here, pulling it out, this part isn't actually supposed to pop out, but on the bootleg it does. Because right here, there's these little slotted sections that's supposed to slot into this part of the face right here, the back of the head. Darn it. But these are kind of warped, so they don't like to stick on the inside. And then, actually, get the regular ones off too. He's a little stiffer. But you'll notice on the back of the heads here, there's this flesh tone right here on the undersection, right behind the mouth. Well, the bootleg has this weird purple thing because I imagine they just probably used whatever color they had available to them.
So there's different one out there then, probably?
Depending on which one, I mean, you might get a different color. Like I wouldn't imagine the purple would be the same between each one of them. But that's the main reason why the regular one actually sits flush and the bootleg one doesn't seem to like to do it. And I need that piece.
No, my piece.
Thank you. That's supposed to stay in place, but everything about Arnes' bootleg is
It's ours, Steve, not just mine.
It's yours.
I'm not greedy.
I don't need this. It's okay. Even though he's been at my house for flipping ever. But the main thing to take away between the bootleg's face and the legit face, if your guys are trying to figure out if you got a real one or a fake one, is that the bootlegs is just going to be a little bit unproportioned, and the skin tone is going to be a little bit more tannish. And just stuff isn't going to be quite as even and clean on the actual bootleg, while the Revoltech one actually is sculpted very nicely. And then you have the scarves on the neck. The regular one has a fairly light shade of red. The bootleg has more of a darker red, sort of getting to a maroon color. Detail-wise, mostly the same though, with the little white specks here and there. Is overall in the same shape. It's possibly a little bit smaller in terms of size, but that's really all you got there. And then moving on to the body. It's not that far off.
Just the badges are way off.
Yeah, the badges. Oh, you can actually tell that says sheriff. I don't know what that says.
It says bootleg.
It says oof with a little bit of color fading off of there, and the gold isn't quite as shiny. But for like the yellow is mostly the same. It's got that little bit of a gloss over top of it on the bootleg, so it seems like it's a little bit darker. But initial glance, you can't really tell that much. But if you look closely, the red lining isn't quite as clean on the bootleg. Like there's a little bit more splotches of red in certain spots. Not quite enough red in other areas. While the Revoltech is pretty consistent between each and every section. Then you can tell between the cuts and between the lines too aren't quite as clean on the bootleg. But the cow vest looks mostly the same.
The back?
Yeah, this little section
turn
right
it
here.
back. Let's see what the back looks like.
Same kind of pattern. Oh, actually, the bootlegs is a little shifted, but mostly the same patterns. You have the little pull string on the back. The bootleg, it's a little bit more flush than the Revoltechs. But again, it's one of those areas where you have to really be like holding both of them in hand to really
notice it.
The face, not as much. Next for the belt, this is a little bit easier of an indicator because you can tell here for these little sections where it needs a lot more fine detail, just like the badge, that the cow on this side is a little bit faded, but you can kind of tell that it's supposed to be a steer. Well, this one, very nicely sculpted, very predominant. Same with over here for the holster. Red looks a little fudged up on there for the little ribbon.
What that is.
And it kind of looks like a gear, while this one looks more like a flower. And the little leather straps coming off of the side are not connected, while the bootleg is one giant mold. So if these are connected too, good indicator you got a bootleg. Looking at the butts, why does that look like there's hair, like string there?
Maybe he's got a hairy butt, man. Don't judge him.
Anyways, the pants are actually pretty nicely done overall. The regular Woody is a little bit of a lighter shade of blue. Most everything is lighter about the actual one,
which I actually appreciate that.
Yeah, but the details hold pretty nicely in comparison.
Except the joints.
Except for the joints. If the joints don't sit flush, you might have a bootleg. But yeah, you guys can see right there. Trying to hold these guys is not the easiest thing, especially the bootleg, because he likes to go limp on me a lot. Coming back to the arms, mostly the hands look pretty much the same. Again, a little bit of a...
just a color tone.
Yeah, color tone. That's really about it. Same with the buttons for the arms. Mostly the same. And then coming down to the boots, I'm going to hold them upside down.
That makes no sense. Why are you confusing me, Steve?
So my lighting catches it a little better. But the detailing for the sides of the boots, you could definitely tell that the regular Revoltech looks like it's stitched on there, while part of the cactus on the Revoltechs is kind of missing. Same on the other side, it just looks more like an imprint than actual stitch work. The spurs on the back of the boots, though, more or less look pretty close to the same.
Do they move on any of them?
No, they're just stagnant pieces. But again, but what's kind of funny though is the boots on the regular one have a little bit more of a shine finish to them, while the bootlegs is actually faded.
So it's like they twisted it around.
Yeah, it's odd. That and the Andes on the bottom are not in the same spots.
So which one is real though? Like, I mean, which one is the right?
Well, it's supposed to be this one. It's supposed to be on the right side. Like I almost want to say maybe the bootleg came in with the feet on the wrong side.
It would make sense. Maybe.
Actually, that is exactly how that looks. Because you notice how this one bends in a little bit?
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. But they actually copied the Andy pretty well, though. I'm looking at it from my eyes. I'm not really noticing anything.
That's why our...
It's maybe a little bit cockeyed once you get to the D and the Y.
That's why our Woody's been so pissed because his legs were on.
Yeah, he's fix me, damn it. But yeah, detail-wise, Revoltech is definitely a little bit more crisp. I don't want to say that this Woody is... The bootleg is that bad in comparison. Like, if you wouldn't have them standing side by side, it's not horrible, especially since, like, how much did we pay for the bootleg? It's like 20-ish?
Yeah, it was a little bit over 20, actually.
20-ish?
Yeah.
So would you give this a NECA stamp of approval?
God, no. NECA did a better job.
It's true. Yeah, true. All right, so next we're going to move on to the accessories, which I'm just going to swap out the faces.
Camera's like, God, I don't know which one to focus on.
Focus. All right, so with the creepy, high, grinning pedo face, I feel like the bootleg is actually the one that wins here.
God, yeah, that's why we bought it, remember, in the first place, because of his creepier face.
Yeah, well, it's like, his is still kind of creepy for the legit one. Pretty much most of the same complaints that you have with the other one. Like, but the faces aren't quite as that far off. Like, the chin's a little bigger still on the actual bootleg. But I like that the eyes aren't even. Like, this eye is definitely way more open than the other eye. Well, this one is even. So he just looks like he's stoned out of his mind. He looks like he's about to kidnap your children. So if you want creepy factor, the bootleg, I'd say, is the way to go here. If you're buying it just for this face, this seems like it's winning so far. But yeah, pretty much mostly the same. Still doesn't sit quite as flush. A little bit more flush than the other one. But yeah. God, you can definitely tell looking from the side. Just how much more open that this eyes are on the bootlegs.
Yeah, the bootleg's got this one.
Next for the binoculars, the only real difference I'm seeing is, again, lighter coloring on the actual real one. Pretty much everywhere. Then the feet are a little bit more even on the bottom. The little holes in the back are painted a little bit better on the legit one, where a lot of the red's seeping into the eye hole there.
Making it look smaller.
Yep. They actually have the metallic silver there on the side. Because, like, for this one, it's not really, detail-wise, that much different. It's mainly just a coloring. And this has, like, a nice gloss finish to it. Because even looking at it from the front of the eyes, outside of the bootleg's eyes have little scratches on them here and there. Not too bad, to be honest. Like, it's pretty darn close. Next for Woody's hats.
I actually don't see the difference, just except the color.
It's even hard to see the color. Like, it's not that far off. Like, barely. At least from the top angle. Like, I'd say it's slightly lighter. Detail-wise, though, it's pretty darn close. Until we get to the Disney Pixar, which you can see it pretty clearly on the bottom of the legit hat. This one, it's like
They're trying to scrub it
Disney
up
Pixar.
so they don't get in trouble.
I can't see the R
Yarr.
from my angle.
Booty.
All right, so here's the legit coin. Here's the bootleg coin. It didn't come with one. Next for the nameplates, the legit one has a gloss finish. Bootleg has a matte finish. Then for the mics,
I can't tell the difference.
the coloring on here is a little bit more faded. It's pretty close to the same coloring, but you can definitely tell that the top here is more of a peach, while the legit one has an orange.
But we can say just because we used that one for so long.
Oh, jeezy. So long that it's been sitting in the box this entire time.
You don't know, man. You could have been using it off the camera.
Then we have the tools, which...
There's no big difference at all, Steve.
Oh, yeah, it's not like the one is clean, has a gloss finish to it for the regular one. This one looks like they just kind of carved out some rough plastic and called it a day. Oh, this thing's hideous. It wouldn't compare it anyways. This one looks so much better.
It matches his soul, Steve.
Then we have the little cases for them. This is the bootleg one over here. Nothing too much different than I'm noticing. A little bit of a different shade of coloring. Bottom, the regular one, you could definitely read it a little bit better. It's more or less the same thing, but it's actually bigger font here on the bootleg. There's like a little indentation here on the bottom too, like a little bubble on the regular one, while the bootleg doesn't have that. Yeah, it's just different sizes. That's so weird looking. Huh. I feel like they maybe like got one mold, like this is an older one, or maybe a newer one, I don't know. And just use the same one for each figure. Like, that makes sense, because there's no copyright here. Then we got the Buzz Lightyear hands, which, nice, clean purple. You can definitely see the paint job on it.
For some odd reason, mine came
They're
without
so
a thumb.
green. The bootlegs, not nearly as clean.
What happened to my bootleg, Steve? He's missing a thumb.
No, he's not. It's right here.
I wonder what happened.
Crazy. You guys have to watch the video if you haven't seen it for the old review. And then standard Woody comes with a few extra hands, which he gets a pointing finger, one finger for grabbing onto the binoculars, open hand, and slightly relaxed hand. Now, the primary difference, and I'll just go over one with the bootlegs, is they're pretty close, but again, just a different coloring in the shade, and some of the fingers might not be the appropriate sizes. Like, for instance, the thumb on this one. And I'm not going to go over the articulation really hard, but the bootlegs is definitely the looser of the two. For sure. Like, his articulation's
Actually, Stick, we can pose him with stuff.
pretty solid, which is the main reason I might start using him more than the bootleg for certain things. Possibly might just see if I could just swap out the faces and use his body. That might be it.
Fuse the evil, Steve.
I think I'm going to fuse the evil. So, which one would you go with? The bootleg or the actual Revoltech Woody?
Honestly,
I
want them both.
It's not an answer.
Yes, it is. Because I like the original one. The real one, actually. I like the real one just because it's cleaner, nicer, better joint. But then I like the bootleg because he's our bootleg.
He is creepy.
Yeah, he's
to say the
creepy.
least.
Like, his face is just unbeatable.
No, it's true. Like, the bootleg accomplished what we needed it to accomplish. I feel like if you guys are looking for an actual Woody figure, just buy the Revoltech one.
Yeah, I paid the extra $15-20.
Yeah, just dish out the extra cash. You will not be disappointed with it in terms of detail, sculpt, articulation, what have you. If you want to save money, I recommend just maybe possibly getting the ones that you can find at Toys R Us from Pixar and stuff. Like the normal Woody action figures. But the only reason I would really recommend the bootleg over this one is if you're really going for that creepy factor.
Yeah, he's got the face.
Like, you're not buying that Woody because you want a movie accurate Woody in your collection. You're buying that Woody because you want to do inappropriate things with your other figures with your favorite character from Toy Story.
That is true.
But what do you guys think? Do you guys prefer the bootleg over the legit Woody? Please let us know in the comment section below. We're also going to have more pictures of this guy on our website. If you want to click the link in the description below, we'll do some more goofy photos with that one as well. We also have a Patreon account if you guys like to help support the channel, also down there. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a Ranger today. See you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.